But you know what? I think often this is where it's actually really tricky. Because I think for a lot of us, and I include myself in this, on one hand, I'm like, you know what? I want to live for Jesus. But then there's a part of me that's still trying to hold on to that old way of living. And often what can happen in our lives is we, on one hand, are living for Jesus, but also in another sense trying to live for ourselves. And we make this kind of messy mixture of living for Jesus, but also ourselves at the same time. It's like, for example, my favorite drink in life is tea. In the morning, I'll drink tea. At lunchtime, I'll drink tea. Basically, it's the only drink I have throughout the day. Another drink I quite like is Diet Coke. If I go out somewhere, I'll almost always have a nice Diet Coke. What I don't do, though, is have those two drinks at the same time, because that just wouldn't taste very nice. But that is, I think, what we do. We basically take a nice drink, something like tea. I put this in a flask. Still nice and warm. This is Sophie's flask, very effective. And we also take something like Diet Coke, and trying to live for Jesus and living for the world is like trying to drink these drinks at the same time. I say as I struggle to open it up, it's open. It's like on one hand we're saying, I want to live for Jesus with my whole life. Very nice. But you know what, at the same time, I want to hold on to that old way of living. An interesting mix. Jesus is first in my life. But actually, in reality, maybe my job, my family, the things I want to do is first in my life. I'm going to live for Jesus with all that I have. I want to worship him. I love him. I sing worship songs at church. But actually, I struggle with covetousness. I struggle with lust. I struggle with the way that I make so many things in my life idols. And this is so often what our Christianity looks like. On one hand, we're trying to live for Jesus. On the other hand, we're trying to live for ourselves. And you know what? When you drink these together, I'm not going to lie, it's not the most pleasant of experiences.